Rock and roll. All right, party time.
Godzilla says that I should learn to fight my own battles. No.
Hello, cadets. Welcome to another episode of the Big Monster Briefing Room. I'm General Lemuel T. Howitzer, retired. I salute you. Every time I see that woman with the fangs go down below that kid's belly button, ow. Oh, let's on that happy note, let me bring up my assistant.
I don't even get the joke.
Major Hazzard.
I don't even get the joke. You know, I spend all my time in laboratories like this one. I have hardly any social life at all. Roland's been complaining. You know, everything's just concocted in my life.
Roland's been complaining?
NASA. I was on assignment. I've been on global assignments.
Wait, back up just a second here. Roland's been complaining?
I mean, I don't want to get into it because this is intimate business, General. I can't be telling you about Roland and all of his, you know, BDE stuff going on or whatever, you know, because that's his personal stuff. What I'm saying is I don't have time for all of this stuff because I don't have a social life anymore. Look, I'm back in the lab again. I'm going to be here again till tomorrow.
You're married to your work. What can I say? You know, you love what you do.
I totally love it, and I love defending people. But the thing is, like,
especially if it has to do with Bigfoot or Loch Ness Monster. You're there. I mean, on target.
Let's be honest, one of my fantasies does include me riding on, you know, Nessie as she's pulling me through the water. I think that would be a great time. I'm trying to work for it.
My favorite meme from the internet is a picture of Bigfoot doing exactly that. He's riding on the back of Loch Ness and he's flipping off whoever's looking at the meme.
I love that because that would be my fantasy. I
want a T-shirt that has that on it.
I want a T-shirt that has that. Let's make a big monster briefing room.
I'm going to have to make that happen.
We have to make a merch. They call it merch, the kids, and we'll do the big monster briefing room, and we're going to have you and me riding on a Yeti, riding on a Nessie. It'll be perfect.
I'm drinking peach tea.
You're drinking peach tea.
That's it, with a cup of peach tea.
Exactly, with a cup of peach tea, and you could tell because there'll be a little peach on it or something.
It could be our own. All right, he doesn't have to be flipping people off because that's, you know, people will be offended by that. He'll just have a peach tea up. Hey!
He just have the peach tea up. It doesn't have to be offensive at all.
It could be Bigfoot on the Loch Ness Monster with a cup of peach tea.
I think it would be very heartwarming. We need to find an artist. Maybe Manny Zamora, you know, who's in the Cosmos. Maybe Manny Zamora or somebody. I don't know.
Now, as you know, we're doing a special training film this episode. It's Godzilla versus Destoroyah, and that's how they say it, Destoroyah.
That's how I say it too. Destroyer.
It's destroyer, you know.
I say destroyer. It's the same thing we say in Yonkers.
You know, it's kind of like it sounds Russian even. Destoroyah.
Nostrovia. It sounds like Nostrovia, which is the Russian good health.
Destroyer. That's it. Godzilla partying all night. Tokyo's a mess. No, this is one of the best Godzilla training films out there. It's got a human story that you can actually, you know, get into. You know, there's no little kid running around, you know, with an adult female voice going, "There's Godzilla. He's going to save us. He's going to protect us." You know, there's none of that going on in this film.
You just don't like any of those kids in the training films.
You know, by the end of the film, I'm hoping they just get blasted with radiation. You know, I hate those little kids in their little short shorts.
They're
running
so
around.
cute. They're so cute.
Robot, get it. Actually,
they such a human element. All of the training films are so vital.
Megalon, wake up, Megalon.
You sound like Mickey Dolenz.
That's it, Mickey Dolenz.
I didn't know you could do a Mickey Dolenz impression, but apparently you can.
that is the king of Zootopia.
Okay.
I can't remember his name right off the top of my head, but that's the king of Zootopia waking up. He wakes up Megalon by saying that. Wake up, Megalon. That's all he has to do. And
it's kind of how Roland
about
wakes
to
me
go
up in the
destroy
morning.
stuff.
It's very endearing.
So anyway, we'll talk about that when that movie comes in a couple of months. But this one, Godzilla's inner reactor is he's got some really bad like acid reflux. it's messing with him, and he's gonna explode. He's gonna go nuclear in this film. So that's another interesting plot point of this particular training film that we're going to talk about in a minute. But again, very excited to be doing this film. Usually we have Unite Godzilla fans to come on the show with us, but unfortunately he had a previous engagement. So I hope wherever he is, he's having a lot of fun, and I hope he gets to watch the replay of this show and enjoy what we say, hopefully, about this particular training film. Because again, it is one of the best. So I'm not going to trash it or anything like that. I just most of it works, and again, it's a really good training film. So let's get started with our training film timeline.
Wait! I have one item of business, which I want. One item of business that we have.
Item of business.
Yes, we have a very dear friend named Rory Penland. He's the man of 1,000 voices. And he has this super cool exhibition going on, and he's got merch, and he's got all kinds of stuff. And I know you know all about it, and we had promised him we were going to do a little like promo here, so I don't want to forget that.
Not really the place or time, but
I feel like
I'm very happy for him. It's very successful. This thing is happening in Lake City, Florida, the Gateway Gallery, and again, he made some merch, some 8x10 copies of famous paintings to sell, and they're selling like hotcakes. So I happen to know for a fact he got his first check from this, and it was very nice.
Is there a way that anyone watching now
to
can
show
anyone
beautiful
here
art?
buy the merch? Where can they get the merch if they're not on ground?
Well, again, you can get it at the Gateway Gallery if you're close to Lake City. Drop on by and see the famous art, and pick up a painting.
Okay, absolutely. Okay, thank you.
And they're raffling off some paintings too, which is nice. He's donated some paintings to raffle off to make some money for the gallery. So
that's absolutely phenomenal. Thank you for doing that, General. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, now we have the timeline.
Let's move on.
We're moving on. We love you, Rory. Wherever you are, we love you, Rory.
Yeah. I'm very happy for you.
You get jealous. You get so jealous of Roland. You get jealous of Rory because he's the man of 1,000,000 voices and you're not. And he is 1,000,000 voices. He's definitely up to 1,000,000 now. You're jealous because you don't do impressions. You always wanted to be a comedian, but you didn't do it.
I've done many impressions on this show. What are you talking about? I just did the King of Zootopia, for crying out loud.
That's true. You did I sounded a little like Mickey Dolenz, but okay.
I do Mickey Dolenz. There. So sometimes I do Davy Jones, when I get liquored up.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Valerie. Anyway, so this film starts out with somebody that we recognize from the Heisei Godzilla films, Miss Miki Sagusa, who is she has ESP capabilities. She's got kind of a connection to baby Godzilla, which is now in this film, he's become Junior Godzilla. Let me see if I can pull that out from the shelf here. Where is he? Okay, there he is. So this he's almost full grown now, but he doesn't. There we go. He doesn't have the full spines on the back, So he's about half size of Godzilla, and he's getting big, and so he's gonna be a full grown Godzilla someday, And it's peculiar because my curtain. I should have pulled this curtain aside.
Oh my goodness, I didn't know they were behind there. This is so surprising.
Yes. Well,
What else do you know behind that?
I want to show you something here. Okay. He came out looking like this at first, and that's okay. I mean, I'm liking that. And then in the next film, he went to this. It's like, wait a minute.
Oh,
what the hell?
Okay.
Did smoking stunt his growth? Come on now. So he went from that to this, and this is cute. I mean, it's nice. But I like the fact that he went from that to this.
This is phenomenal. That's amazing.
This is
Oh
a small Godzilla. This is what should be.
right, exactly.
He looks like Godzilla. This, cutie face. This one, too cutie. All right, come on now.
It's a little too adorable. It's adorable.
So there it is.
And Pan O'Reilly.
But really, what we got to be concerned about.
Pan is here, and she said so many toys.
They're not toys. They're action figures.
Oh, okay. They're not toys.
So
they're
this is Destoroyah. Destoroyah.
It's very scary.
Dun, 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 dun,
Has Roland ever painted
dun,
Destroyer?
dun,
I feel like Roland should paint Destroyer.
ah.
That's
So,
a good
okay.
one. Okay.
We got that out of the way. We got the playing out of the way. All right. So Miki Sagusa is looking for Junior Godzilla, the Godzilla Junior. She hasn't been able to connect with it mentally, with the ESP in a long time. So he's missing. So that's how we begin the film. And then we go to Hong Kong, believe it or not, in the airport. And, guys are flying the planes and everything. And all of a sudden, boom, Godzilla pops up out of the water. But there's something different about it. He's kind of glowing orange on his chest and his back, and he's burning. He's a burning Godzilla, and he can't control his fire that comes out of his mouth.
It's very alarming. It's very alarming.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Well, and again, his beam is very out of control, and his nuclear beam, and yeah.
It's very disturbing. I don't know what's going on. That's not.
Now, this is interesting. I've eaten at that restaurant, the one that he's about to destroy right now. It's called Jumbo.
It's a real
very nice restaurant. Nice big dragons on the inside in the staircase when you go in. I learned how to use chopsticks in that restaurant.
Is it famous or something?
It's a very famous. It's a floating restaurant. It's on the water.
Oh wow, that's really
It's a floating restaurant. So it's probably the most famous restaurant in Hong Kong. Okay. So that's why he's gonna destroy it.
Okay, that makes sense.
So yeah, they're showing him going through Hong Kong, and he's just walking around and he's zapping things. It's like he doesn't even mean to. It's like, oh, sorry. Oh, I'm sorry.
I think he took too much testosterone. He's got to draw back some of the testosterone or something.
Testosterone? That has nothing to do with this.
Oh, it can make you very. Or
he needs a Tums. That's what he needs. He needs a gigantic Tums. That's what he needs. That would have solved this problem right away. A Rolade. Get him a couple of giant Rolades.
Oh, absolutely. This does not seem like he's happy at all.
So, yeah, this is, you see how I kind of put those two pictures together with the beam? Those are two different pictures.
Oh, okay.
So he's blind.
Wow,
See, now I'm getting artsy fartsy.
Yep.
So there he is, Fred. How you doing, Fred? So yeah, he's blowing up Hong Kong. Uh-oh. There goes the tourist trade. And then we get the opening credits with that is the oxygen destroyer from the first Godzilla movie, Gojira. That's what killed him in the first movie. So, and that's the other thing I love about the script, is that they tie this movie in with the very first one in several different ways, which I like, including the oxygen destroyer, which killed him in the first movie. That's what creates this monster, the destroyer.
Okay. That's a fun fact. That's what we call fun fact, kids. It's a fun fact.
Dun, 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 dun. Godzilla versus Destroyer.
That's how you know what you're watching.
Destoroyah.
Which is right behind the general, right behind the curtain. He's got it right there.
Behind the curtain.
Behind the
Pay
curtain.
no attention to the action figures behind the curtain.
We all know they're there, General. We all know they're there.
The wizard of my den. So you see his body. He's called Burning Godzilla. That's what they call this Godzilla. Burning Godzilla.
Is that like Boynan Man? Is that like Boynan Man where the hippies go in the desert and they do crazy things?
Did you just say Boynan?
Yeah, Boynan. Hunka Boynan love. Hunka Boynan love.
Oh, I forgot I had this one. This is the little. He starts out as a little guy, the destroyer. Actually, several of these. There's like a bunch of them running around, and he can climb up Godzilla's body.
That's definitely a destroyer.
And it's annoying. It's just annoying,
We need
He's
a
just running
Mylanta
around.
for the Destoroyah.
This is burning Godzilla, by the way. We're burning Godzilla. You can see
We
him
need
burning.
a Mylanta.
He's got the burning spines, he's got the burning chest, and the burning thighs. Very important.
Is that
Burning
because he used too
thighs.
much of the Thigh Master from Suzanne Summers or
you
James
think
Wanda?
Suzanne Summers ever had burning thighs?
Which is the one that did the Thigh Master? Was that Suzanne Summers?
That's Suzanne Summers, yeah, from the
Okay.
Three's Company.
Oh, I just love that Three's Company. That John Ritter, he's such a hot throb.
Come in my corner. Anyway,
Colorado.
so yeah, Godzilla is just out of control.
Totally.
That's what they're saying here. So we get the opening credits, and yes, that's him destroying Hong Kong still. There's a lot of good pictures here. So
He's doing a lot.
okay, now this shot I love
a lot of destroying.
because they set up this whole scene just to show you that this is a secret military meeting that's going on. These two poor schmoes are outside the doors with their rifles. All they had to do is show this. They show this, it's a secret. They didn't have to show the two guys on the outside, the two guards, but they did it anyway.
Oh, but I disagree, General, because it makes it very intimidating, and you can see like it's a fortress almost. It really sort of heightens the confidentiality factor.
Okay, I'll go along with that.
Yeah, because there's guns and everything. It's very intimidating.
It adds, product value
and
production
drama.
Value. So this guy, he works for the government, and he's working with Miki Sugusa and this other girl who's also, I can't remember her name. She's also has ESP, and she can connect with Godzilla and the baby, I guess. And she works together with Miki Sugusa. Now they're talking to this guy from America, and he's like, "Oh, hey, we got this great thesis from this student out there. This young kid, his name is Kenichi Yamane, and you'll recognize the name Yamane as the doctor from the very first Godzilla movie, Dr. Yamane. He was the one that basically they went to talk to you about Godzilla when he first shows up. It's like, hey, what is this? Well, it's probably this and this and this. So that was Dr. Yamane.
That's a good impersonation you did there, General. I enjoyed that. That was very enjoyable.
No, it wasn't. It was not. So.
It was my most favorite one you've ever done. In fact,
no.
It was very quaint.
That's Dr. Yamane in the picture there in the tie, and the young boy there, his parents were killed by Godzilla on the island that Godzilla first appeared on. Now,
this is just awful. It's awful.
Yes, this nerd guy here. And he's a nerd. He's a computer nerd. He's a total computer nerd. He is this young kid's grandson. So Dr. Yamane took the young kid into his home. He adopted him, and he became his stepson. And this is his grandson. Now, my question is, who is this kid's mother? Okay, we're gonna talk about this in a little bit. Who's this kid's mother? So Dr. Yamane had a daughter. But she was in love with a guy named Ogata, who helped Dr. Serizawa kill the original Godzilla with the oxygen.
It's a very sexy name. I would fall in love with Ogata too.
Ogata.
It's very masculine.
Ogata. Ogata. It's a very masculine, Japanese name, I guess.
It's like a peach tea noise you might make while drinking peach tea.
I would never say Ogata drinking peach tea. I'm sorry. I would never do that. So the guy from the government goes to see this kid. The kid, is saying that Godzilla basically has a little nuclear reactor in his body, and it could go awry. And that's what's happening here. So that's why they go to get this kid. Now, the kid's sister is that woman on the left there. That is Yukari Yamane. Again, there's another granddaughter. She is a news reporter, and she's talking to a Dr. Ijuin about his work with an oxygen destroyer. He's working on a new oxygen destroyer, an anti-oxygen, but he's not doing it for weapons or anything. But she actually calls him out on that, saying, "Well, couldn't this be used for weapons?" And she was pretty hard on him, actually. So she's the nerd's sister. Okay. And let me also state that they asked him at first, would you come and work with us and help us with this Godzilla problem? Because I don't want to get involved. I don't want to. This is just a hobby of mine. And then Miki Sugusa calls And he perks up like a deer in headlights, and he's like, "Ooh, let's go! I'll come with you now." So he's into Mickey Segusa. So who isn't?
Who isn't?
Anyway, the Godzilla fans know what I'm talking about. Yeah, there's a kaiju I'd like to. Anyway, I can't believe I just said that.
You're getting wild.
Can we edit that out?
It's whenever
There she
he's on
is.
the
You know
peach
those cute
tea,
little
everybody.
ears. You know, come on.
Whenever he's on the peach tea, he gets all crazy.
Peach tea does not make me crazy.
I think it makes you crazy. It
Qingdao
makes you
beer
growl
makes
and
me
everything.
crazy. Qingdao beer. That's my favorite beer. Qingdao beer. It's Chinese. It's a
All
really
right.
good beer. If you haven't had it, look for it at Chinese restaurants. They all have it.
What kind of beer would you akin it to? What is it similar to?
Kirin beer, Kirin. It's a Korean beer, but that's not as good as Qingdao. Qingdao's nice, smooth. It's got a little sweetness to it. It's great beer.
Okay.
Anyway,
Okay.
I digress. How did you get me started talking about beer?
I don't know. We were talking about peach tea making you crazy.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah. Okay.
That's
So,
what it was.
yeah, now they're all getting together, to talk about Godzilla and what's going on with Godzilla. And he explains his theory that there was a volcano, an underwater volcano that happened, and somehow that has triggered Godzilla's nuclear reactor inside his body. And yeah, man, he's gonna explode. And if he explodes, it's gonna take out the whole world. The radiation explosion, the fire is going to take over the atmosphere completely and kill everything. So it's reset button. So, like George Carlin said, the planet's fine. We're the problem. It'll shake us off with like a bunch of fleas, and time will move on. So now we get the grandmother. They actually got the actress that was in the first Godzilla movie. Her name is Minako Kochi, and she plays Emiko Yamane, who's the grandmother. And there is Dr. Sarazawa from the first film. He's the one that created the first oxygen destroyer. So that doesn't look like Woody Allen there. He was the one that created the first oxygen destroyer. See, I can do impressions.
Watch out, Rory Penland. Watch out, Rory. You got some competition here. You got some competition.
I was a general once. I used to wrangle monsters.
It always bothered me. It always bothered me that they always had him with some gorgeous woman, and it's Woody Allen. I mean, what gorgeous woman would be wanting to date him?
He's funny. He's intelligent.
Okay.
The girls went for that, man. Diane Keaton went for that.
Okay.
What was her name? Strasberg? The one from Mary Hartman. She went for that.
Okay.
And Mia Farrow went for that,
It's just weird. It's a little weird to me.
And now he's been with Sunyi Previn for, my God, maybe 30 years now, 40 years.
It's incredible, and I mean the full definition of that word, incredible. Although he is very funny.
It's incredible. Incredible.
It just goes to show,
if you'd have told me, listen, when you're talking about Godzilla versus Destoroyah, you're going to go off on Woody Allen. No, I would never in a million years have thought,
And beer.
And beer.
A lot of beer.
Okay, so again, this is a wonderful cameo.
Talking about Woody, talking about all the things that matter.
It's a beautiful, wonderful cameo from the original actors from the movie. So she tells the daughter, who's the news reporter, hey, go talk to the doctor about this oxygen destroyer and try to talk him out of it, because this is really bad stuff. You don't want to do this, But again, they're talking about using the oxygen destroyer to kill Godzilla so that he doesn't blow up. At one of his research facilities, he poo-poos her away, basically going, no, I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing. And at one of his research facilities, something goes awry. When they're getting soil samples that have oxygen destroyer in them, something goes awry and everything kind of goes crazy. Meanwhile, the G-Force, which is what it's called in the movie, they spot Godzilla, And again, he's in the sea. He's swimming in the sea. The sea around him is boiling because he's getting so hot. But he's in the ocean, so that's helping to keep him cooled down somewhat. So, character shots. Big meeting. Head honcho's
Very big
nerd guy.
meeting. Very big.
Head
yes.
honcho's nerd guy.
Mm-hmm.
This guy gets so much. Oh, so this is where he explains that Godzilla's going to blow up.
Right.
And that's what's going to happen. It's going to go wherever he is. It's just going to make a huge radioactive cloud, and then it's going to go all around the atmosphere and just destroy everything on Earth. So this is bad. Okay. This is not good.
Very bad.
Okay. So at a press conference, they're asking him, hey, what was it that went awry here at your factory? He's like, I have no comment. So Yamane, who's a good reporter, kind of catches him off guard, and he ends up taking her out to dinner. Yeah, good reporter.
That's wonderful. I love it.
So there's kind of a love interest thing going on here. And meanwhile, at the facility, they've taken the soil samples that have oxygen destroyer stuff in them, and they put them in these little glass containers. Then they're shaking them up, and they're talking about the oxygen destroyer there, and we get a flashback to the original movie where they killed Godzilla with the oxygen destroyer, and then Ms. Yamane wakes up. Emiko. Oh, something bad's gonna happen. One of those things, That's my impression of Godzilla. That's the second part. There's a two-part. Roland taught me how to do that.
Yeah, I know. I was getting excited just looking at it.
Roland taught me how to do that. He's done that for you, hasn't he?
I won't get into it, but yes.
He's going to do a video on TikTok this week about that. So he's going to start doing kaiju impressions on TikTok. Your boyfriend.
He very much admires you, and he wants to impress you. It's a beautiful bromance that I think you guys have. A little bit of a frenemy element to it, but some bromance there too.
Yeah, I'd have a Qingdao beer with him.
I'll let him know you said so. Thank you.
So, Emiko is talking to her grandson and her granddaughter about this destroyer, or I'm sorry, oxygen destroyer thing. Just don't let it happen, because it's gonna get out of hand, and it's gonna be worse than Godzilla. So,
okay.
And then she's right, because one of the glass vials, something has gotten out of one of the little glass vials there. It's just a little microbe, but it's going to grow.
Never good.
It's going to grow, and real fast. So, meanwhile, at a nearby aquarium, seaquarium, I guess you call it, a security guard flips out because the fish are disintegrating before his eyes. Just like the oxygen destroyer in the first film. So they look at the video, and they see this little thing going away from one of the fish, and they 3D image it, and lo and behold, it is a life form that none of us have ever seen before. It's a kind of crustacean kind of thing. Crustacean. That's a good word. Crustacean.
There's a Loch Ness monster photo that looks very similar, although much bigger.
This is kind of like a shellfish kind of thing.
I know, but there is one. If you
people are allergic to shellfish, they wouldn't want to eat one of these.
Crustacean. Yes, it's very.
If you take us to the next slide, I'll show you what I mean.
Yes, it's very.
So they're the 3D in it, and there it becomes, and he's like, "Ooh, man, that's gnarly. Good. What did I do here?"
They even have a 3-dimensional mode.
Yes.
It's very.
It was 1995, so this is pretty good computer graphics for 1995.
This is very scientific. I could probably do some of that in my laboratory here.
Oh yeah, oh definitely.
Absolutely.
Now, I mean, gosh, it's 2023. I mean, this was 1995.
Yes, I know.
So they're following Godzilla, keeping an eye on him, making sure he doesn't get too hot, making sure he stays in the ocean. That's impressive.
Very impressive.
That's the big water tank they used out in Toho.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a giant water tank that they use out there for these kind of scenes.
It looks like the ocean.
They actually got rid of it. recently.
Why did they do
A
that?
couple of, I guess they were catching too much flack about the fact that actors would get in there and it was just an old nasty nappy water.
Oh, I hope I won't
Anyway,
get sick.
I don't know. Don't quote me on
Gross.
that. I don't quote me on that.
Very gross.
Okay, so at the facility, the doctor's facility, the creature has grown. And the police show up, and they're all tactical. They realize that there might be something dangerous here, but they don't realize that they are really out of their league here. And that's usually what happens in these movies, in these training films. So, yeah, there's several of these things, these crustaceans. They've grown to about, 10 feet tall now. And they're hitting these guys with, like, antimatter rays. Because it's all about taking the oxygen out of the air, that kind of thing, So they get outside and they go after the news reporters.
Uh-oh.
So Kenichi Yamane, I'm sorry, not Kenichi, that's the nerd. Yukari Yamane is in a police car. She gets in a police car because, hey, it's safe in a police car, right?
You would think so.
But he's tearing it up, he's rolling it over, he's tearing that, And then the guys with the flamethrowers, yes, my favorite, flamethrowers show up. That's my favorite. It's my weapon.
I know you love it. You love everything about it.
Flamethrowers.
Yes, it's
You
very
can kill just about
adorable.
any monster with a flamethrower.
Just look at
Vampires,
it.
Frankenstein.
You would just love to
These guys.
scorch one of these big monsters one of these days. You'd love to scorch them. I want to scorch one of the arachnids, one of the giant arachnids. I wouldn't even care. I wouldn't hold back
Again,
at all.
you got a flamethrower, you're protected. You're covered.
Yeah, I would just flamethrower.
You're covered. Get that flamethrower. Yes.
Just get it.
So, nerd boy here. What is he doing? I can't see because I'm too big and they're too small.
He's adorable.
Okay, he's again keeping an eye on Godzilla. Evidently, Godzilla's heading towards a nuclear plant now. He's gonna fill himself with more nuclear power. And there's a guy going,
it's like Russia. Russia keeps commandeering all these nuclear plants. It's just like Godzilla.
How'd you like to be this guy on a midnight shift? They're paying you minimum wage. Godzilla shows up.
It's just awful. It's just awful.
Because they're doing the same thing in Japan. They're paying a minimum wage. Same thing that's going on here. You don't get paid enough. You work too hard, and the cost of living is going up 5 times what you're getting paid.
That's a good point.
Sucks. So I digress again. Can you make the picture bigger, please?
Of course.
Smaller.
Look at how big. Look at him. Look at his face. He looks so unpleasant.
They call in the X3. Dun, da-da, that's like the music. The music in this is great, by the way. It's Akira Ifukube, the guy that did the music for most of the Godzilla films, and it's a particularly good score.
The general even provides the soundtrack, and we get around the copyright when he reenacts it. I love it.
That's my impersonation of Akira Ifukube's soundtrack.
That's wonderful. I loved it. It's probably better than the original general.
There it is. There it is. The X3 is on its way. They have freezing weapons that they can use to freeze Godzilla with. It's funny as the general calls him in, and the rest of the guys are like, "What? You had that all the time?" What? So funny because it's like, why didn't you call these guys a couple of days ago? So yeah, they hit Godzilla with missiles and rays that freeze him. Basically, he hits him with his ray, and they're like, "Whoa, man, his ray is out of control. It's more powerful." And again, see how I take the 2 pictures and
I was going to say, very good editing.
It's beautiful. Very artistic.
It's absolutely
very
beautiful.
creative.
I'm impressed. I'm very impressed.
So that's the X3 getting hit. The X3 smokes for the rest of this film, by the way, as it flies, because Godzilla hit it with that ray.
That's a pretty.
It comes out later in the film, like a couple of days later. It's still smoking.
It's very powerful.
So there it is. And these guys actually are from the previous movie, Godzilla versus Space Godzilla, when it was like the X1, I think, or X2. I don't know. So it's one of them X's. It's again, they keep improving upon it as the series went on. The Heisei series went on. So okay, so there we're seeing Godzilla getting frozen in the water there, and
not a good day for him.
If they can freeze him, then they can keep him from, exploding.
Right.
So they're doing their best to freeze him. And
Good work, fellas. Good work.
it seems to have worked. It appears to have worked. See, his face is all freezing over, and he's looking kind of frosty.
Frosty Godzilla. Frostyzilla.
Frostyzilla. That's very good. So the guys are like, "Hey, all right, high five," and they go out. They take off, and then the charts are showing. Wait a minute, Godzilla's still burning.
How is it possible?
He's not being doused. It's too strong.
How is it possible?
So this isn't going to last, and he just keeps getting hotter. So now, because they froze him, we'll get to that in a minute. It's kind of flipping back and forth between stories here. So now the doctor and his men are trying to create a more powerful oxygen destroyer. And again, it's like it gets out of control. I mean, he means well. He does. He means well. He wants to hurt Godzilla. And on a nearby beach, baby Godzilla Jr. shows up. And Sagusa finally sees him for the first time in a while, and it's a lovely moment. And they realize that Godzilla is actually following the path of Godzilla Jr. So they have to get Godzilla Jr. to move towards Tokyo, believe it or not, so that Godzilla will go to Tokyo where the destroyer monsters are, even though they're small, because they think if they get them all together, they'll fight, and then they can maybe freeze Godzilla again. Because if right now, as it stands, he's not going to blow up, but he will melt down, which is just as bad. Like if a nuclear reactor melts down, yeah, it's just a big glowing ball of fire going down into the earth, and you never know where it's going to come up out of the earth, and yeah, it's not good. So and there it is. They show the graphic there. So that's what's going to happen to Godzilla if he melts down. Not great. A lot of radiation. And that's another good thing is, over time they have forgotten that Godzilla is incredibly radioactive. So if you get close to him, you're going to die, or you're going to end up in a radiation ward. That was one of the things about the early Godzilla films that were just so interesting to me, was the fact that he was so radioactive, because again, it was a metaphor for the atomic bombs that were dropped on Japan. Oh, okay. So again, I was kind of upset that they just kind of forgot about that in later Godzilla films. There's just like, okay, he's Godzilla. He's a destructive force. Well, he's also radioactive. So you don't want him in your town. Yeah. Because that makes your town unlivable for a while, Absolutely. So I always thought that was an interesting, thing that they just kind of threw away, that he's very radioactive. So here he's back to being very radioactive. Okay. So he's going back to basics. So now the military shows up to try to pull out these destroyer monsters, these little guys. This general guy, I love the fact that he looks like the generals from the earlier Godzilla films, the Showa Godzilla films. He's just got that look, So I can't read that anyway. It's from Jonathan Duncan. He said the historical and social context. Love your insight, General. I enjoyed that too. That was very informative. Thank you. So these creatures come out of the water. They come out from under the ground, and they are a handful. They're bigger now. They're like 25 feet tall now, and they're hitting them with masers. They're hitting them with tanks. Missile fire, there's a lot of them. They're coming around, and they scatter around like crabs. They're kind of creepy. And there's the reporter covering it, and all of a sudden something crazy happens. Something's crazy and happening, and all of a sudden they all mold together into one giant Destoroyah. Yeah. And it's hitting the military hard with its anti-matter beams. And just a gnarly creature. A face only a mother could love. A face only a mother could love. Well, we haven't said that in a long time.
I haven't said that in a long time.
We haven't said that in a long time. Yes, the face that only a mother can love, and it's got the alien, the jaw that comes out after you.
It's
It's
very
got one of those.
arachnid, very actually.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like crab, arachnid, you
Mm.
know. Yeah,
It's ugly.
it's got a lot of the bad things that nightmares are made of.
Nightmares are made of nightmare fuel.
So yeah, the military takes a terrible pounding after this thing meshes together into one monster, and then it can fly. It flies off. Oh no!
Oh boy.
So
It's
yeah, it
never good
flies
when they
off
fly.
into the air. I'm here,
Okay.
Junior Birdman.
Just a
So
momentary lapse.
yeah. So Miki Sugusa and the other girl kind of fight and struggle with the fact that they've got to put the baby, the junior Godzilla, into harm's way. They got to take it to Destoroyah so that Godzilla will show up and Destoroyah and Godzilla will fight. But that puts, Junior in harm's way. But they do it. They're able to turn him with their ESP psychic ability. If you haven't seen this movie, it's a very interesting training film. You really should check it out. Again, it's one of the better Godzilla training films. Just very interesting, very entertaining. So Godzilla Jr. is on his way. Meanwhile, Pandemonium, as the Destoroyah makes his way over Japanese cities. Flying over Japanese cities, terrorizing people, and then Junior shows up.
Hi, Junior.
No. Now, Junior is basically a teenage Godzilla.
He's got some hormones raging.
He's a teen Godzilla. So yeah, he's ready to fight. And he's formidable enough. He might not have the spines yet, but he's formidable enough.
Yep.
So the Destroyer picks up on him and starts flying his way because he's not scared of anybody. Meanwhile, the crowd is getting caught in between these two monsters, like, oh, Destroyer, oh, Godzilla. They don't realize it's Godzilla Jr. They just think it's Godzilla, They're like, oh! They're running in all directions.
I would too. I don't blame them at all.
So there's a fight. And Junior puts up a pretty good fight for a while.
He's got a lot of chutzpah, that one.
And then the Destroyer starts to mess with him. Starts to hit him with his antimatter rays and stuff. Junior fights back. And Junior is actually about the same size as this creature at this point.
Okay.
So it's a fair match.
Right.
Okay. Even though
Entertaining.
this thing is pretty gnarly and pretty nasty, it's got some nasty weapons. And even does a high jump on Junior. And when it does that, when it gets on top of them, it uses that jaw thing to plug into his chest and start siphoning off the energy from him. And we think it's just trying to kill him at this point. And then Godzilla shows up. Burning Godzilla.
He's definitely prickly, Jonathan. Jonathan asked, is he horny or prickly with those spines, I think. I would call it prickly. He's definitely prickly at this point. It's like a little porcupine.
So please remind me to call my sister on Thursdays before we do this show.
Okay. Duly noted.
I know I got a little banner across the top of the screen. It's cutting off half the pictures now.
Oh boy.
So yeah, and I can't go out to handle the problem until the show's over. So anyway, and that's 15 minutes. So
I'm sorry, General.
So again, Burning Godzilla shows up. A lot of character shots there. He's going to square off with this Destroyer, and of course he's bigger. He's bigger than Junior Godzilla. He's much bigger.
Much.
But again, poor Junior is being the power, the force, the life force is being sucked out of him by this thing. And it's because he's going to make himself bigger in a minute. I mean, a lot bigger. He's going to use that to mutate again. So Junior gets up and continues to fight, and his dad is proud. And Godzilla's making his way towards them slowly, and he's still burning. And the two of them try to get close together, Junior and Godzilla. It's a touching moment. And then the Destroyer comes and grabs Junior. He actually comes up bigger. He's morphed while they're trying to have their daddy-son moment. He's kind of morphed into a giant Destoroyah. And the doctor's up in a helicopter going, what the hell have I done? What have I created here? So be careful what you wish for. So we've got a couple of people up in helicopters, which is very dangerous in these situations. You know, there's debris flying around and everything. Mickey Sagusa and the other girl are in one helicopter. Their helicopter gets destroyed. Godzilla's body heat is going up. They call in X3 to kind of freeze him down, try to freeze him down. But they can't get close to him because the Destroyer's, you know, battling with him. And he's basically killed Junior.
It's so awful. It's just awful.
He's killed Junior.
Poor Junior.
Yeah. Not nice. He's not nice.
No, he's not nice. He's a destroyer.
Very mean destroyer.
That's why he's Destroyer.
So this really puts Godzilla's heat up. And of course, the two girls get out of their helicopter. The helicopter blows up. Debris. So now they're stranded out there where the monsters are fighting on the ground. Godzilla is really upset. He's not happy at all. Of course, as you would expect.
I don't blame him. I don't blame him.
As you would expect.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, the fight rages on between the two of them. They're both using their rays, antimatter, and nuclear power beam. And, you know, one goes down, he shoots his ray. One goes up, shoots his ray. And the Destroyer's really big. I mean, he's really big now. He's like towering over Godzilla now. So he's very formidable, very mean looking. But he's still no match for Godzilla, especially burning Godzilla.
Mm-hmm.
You know? He even has a horn thing. That's his last defense. He uses that to slice at Godzilla and barely faces him. He's like, bitch, please. So Godzilla is about to knell the death blow.
Yep.
And there it is. He's got green kind of goopy stuff coming out of him. Godzilla's in with his heat ray. It's like, that's it. Flamethrower! That's what basically what Godzilla is. He's a giant nuclear flamethrower. So, yeah, Destroyer goes down. So now his body heat is rising fast. So X3 tries its best to try to cool him down. But it's too late.
It's just, yeah.
So we, as an audience, get to see Godzilla melt down. Keep moving forward. What the hell? Is the fight raging on? I'm sorry. I thought it was over. They rescued the two girls from on the ground. The helicopter with the news reporter and the doctor come and get them while all this is going on. How that helicopter did get shot down, I don't know. It's really dangerous. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't get that close. Okay, so now we see the body temperature going up on the monitor. Things are not looking good for Tokyo. It's going to turn Tokyo into a nuclear wasteland if he melts down there. Okay, and then the spines start to melt. There we go. If it gets to 1200, he's going to melt down. So it's at 1181 right now, and his spines are starting to melt. Looks like the Destoroyah comes back for one last licking. And then we get to meltdown. And you can see the purple bars. That means the nuclear factor's gone way up. The radiation has gone way up. Even the guy says, "Oh, look at those radiation levels." And he sounds like that,
Oh boy!
They get terrible people. They get terrible people to do the voices, do the English voices for these films.
Oh boy!
Whoa! Look at that.
That is very American sounding. I can confirm.
It is. It's incredibly.
It's very, very good American.
So they're trying to freeze him down, but he's going nuclear, and he's melting, and he melts down. And that's it for Tokyo, It's it. Nobody will be able to live there for, and who knows what'll happen when he melts down into the earth. And the two girls are sad. And the group is like, okay, well, that's it. Game over. And he's just he's melting down. But then, wait a minute. The radiation levels are going down. What the hell? The radiation level, the purple bars are going down. What? What's going on? And then we see the camera pan through the radiation, and Junior has taken in all the radiation, and he is now the new Godzilla. And that's how they end the film.
Oh boy!
Junior is the next incarnation of Godzilla. He's fully grown now. He's fully nuclear, like his father or mother. Who knows? I mean, I don't see a big giant, Godzilla penis swinging, so
See, Jonathan Duncan says I always go there, but you can see the general's the one who gets me all riled up. The general's the bad influence. He's the bad influence with the peach tea. It's with the peach tea. You see? Jonathan Duncan, you got me all wrong. It's just the general that keeps egging me on there. I'm innocent.
Again, you don't see giant, Godzilla nads. So,
well, he's reptilian. Reptiles don't really roll like that.
Okay.
Reptiles don't. If you see a kimono dragon, they don't got that, or an iguana, they don't got that.
We end the film with a shot of Godzilla when he first appeared in the first movie.
There you go.
There's an interesting story about that, and there's pictures of it. This Godzilla puppet that comes up over the mountain there. They originally shot it with him having a cow in its mouth. It had a cow in its mouth, and then they decided that looks too silly, so they just went with just the hand puppet, and that's what it is. It's a little hand puppet. So and that's it. So again, we start a new cycle of Godzilla films. The film after this came 5 years later or 4 years later. It was Godzilla Millennia in 2000. And again, we had a new looking Godzilla, and you supposedly think that I guess that's Junior grown up, and he's the new Godzilla. And they did like 4 or 5 of those movies. So actually more than that, I think. Anyway. So that's the Millennia series. That one, Megaguirus, those are the 2 first ones. And then they went off the rails with an alternate Godzilla. It was really evil. And Godzilla MKG, Mothra King Ghidorah, All Monsters Attack. And then they went back to this Godzilla, I guess, with Godzilla against Mechagodzilla and Tokyo SOS, and that was the end of that series, the Millennia series. So this was a very entertaining training film, and again,
Very much so.
if it's got a flamethrower in it.
You're always showing up for the flamethrowers.
I
You
love
love the
the flamethrower.
flamethrowers, and I do too. It's very, very fulfilling to see.
You gotta love the flamethrowers.
I agree.
It's another catchphrase for me. You gotta love the flamethrowers.
Gotta love them. Gotta love the
Only a mother,
flamethrowers.
face only a mother can love, and you gotta
That's
love the flamethrower.
and then the growl that the Roy Orbison.
Yeah, that's my
And
little
the
Roy
head-
Orbison growl that I do for the girls that are in these movies.
That's right. Yeah.
Especially
You should do it for Godzilla too, because he's kind of
Julie
cute.
Adams from Creature from the Black Lagoon. Oh man, that's my favorite.
Jonathan
They've
Duncan
asked me
said,
that on TikTok. Who's your favorite actress from these training films? And I said, oh, definitely, hands down, by 100 times, Julia Adams from Creature from the Black Lagoon. Man, that girl rocks a one-piece bathing suit.
okay.
So, but this is a great film. And again, I urge you to watch it if you haven't never seen it, because it really is an interesting film, and a lot of Godzilla action in it too, as you can see. There's a lot of stuff going on in the first half of the film where they're setting stuff up, but again, I think I saw a chart that had all the minutes that Godzilla was in the movies, and this one was one of the higher ones on the food chain. More minutes of Godzilla in it than other films.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, well, I also wanted to just say Jonathan Duncan said, I don't see a giant penis swinging either, General. Godzilla could be a marsupial, of course.
A marsupial, like the deadly dangerous koala.
you never know. Very good, very astute insight.
I don't know if there's a pocket there for Minya.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't see a Joey pocket. I don't see that.
That reminds me of there was a fan-made film called Godzilla versus the Werewolf.
Oh boy, I've never.
Seen that you got to watch it. It's pretty good.
Why haven't we done that one?
It's short. It's only clips. It's like not a full movie. So
Okay.
maybe we'll do a show dedicated to the other Godzilla stuff, like the fan-made stuff, like Marv Newland's Godzilla versus Bambi, which is one of my favorite films. It's exactly how you would expect it to be. And other Godzilla stuff that that's out there. Godzilla on Zone Fighter, the TV show that's kind of like Ultraman. Those are fun because he's got like a bat cave where the cave opens up so he can come trotting out. Those are hysterical. They're having like training fights, him and Zone Fighter. They're sparring. Those are great. Maybe we'll do that. I might even be able to get away with showing some clips on that one.
I think you should. I
Sure.
think we should do it. I think it will be fantastic. I like it. I like the idea. I'm happy about it. Let's try it.
All right. So next week, we start our Halloween Fest. Next month, we're going to do, to start out with, Freddy versus Jason, because they're the two most popular guys in movies today, horror movies today. And then we're going to do the original Wolfman, the original Frankenstein, the original Dracula in color. So for Halloween month. So it's going to be a good month. It's going to be an interesting month. And we'll have guests, hopefully, that'll join us. And that's about it.
Okay, there we go. And you
Not a
know what,
big
everyone,
treat.
stick around because a little boy, he told me there is a very special episode of Joinies coming on right after this. It's going to have MM Farwell, of course. Joinies, yes, Joinies. We got, check this out. It's going to be
That sounds like something for your knees. Try Joinies.
We got Julian Miller. We love Julian Miller. We got Tom Cheshire, one of my New York alums, of course. He's also from New York.
Tom Cheshire,
MM
very hip
Farwell,
cat.
of course. MM put the whole thing together. And then Renee Yaworski is going to be there. It's going to close out. And I think that LR is going to also make a special appearance. And, so you never know. There might be some people from SDF.
Sounds like a very fun-filled, packed show.
It's going to be called Celebration of Hope because
Yaworski's got nothing on you. Okay.
What's that?
Yaworski's got nothing on you. I just let you know.
I've been told that because I got better character. I got more chutzpah. I got better heart. Because New Yorkers, we got heart. And she
And you
also doesn't slave away in these labs all night.
And you got the documents on the wall. You're smart.
I got degrees from all kinds of universities. I work for NASA. Renee Yaworski never worked for no NASA. She might have some degrees or something, but does she work for NASA?
She's not a rocket scientist.
She's literally not a rocket scientist. I've never seen no lawyer ever be able to crunch the numbers that I got to crunch in these laboratories all night long. Let me tell you, I love lawyers, but come on.
All right.
You don't send a lawyer to the moon is all I'm going to say. And you don't send a lawyer to go chasing down the Yeti. I'm the one on the front.
What would a lawyer do on the moon?
A lot of people want certain lawyers on the moon. That's true. Joinies. Yes, Joinies is coming up. MM Farwell.
Who gets to put their flag here first? Let's get our lawyer.
We're calling our legal beagles. We got
the space helmet.
Cosmos.
Okay, who was here first?
It's gonna be Robbie. Robbie's the legal. What was the name of that? That was Robbie, right? Plan 9.
Robbie the robot.
Robbie the robot.
Right?
Yeah. See, I know my stuff.
Not Plan 9. It was from
not Plan 9. Not
Plan 9 from outer space was the guy. You see your tiny little mind, stupid. Robbie the robot was from Fantastic Planet. No, Forbidden Planet. Forbidden Planet.
I can't believe it wasn't Plan.
Sorry, I was giving myself an oil job. That's my Robbie impersonation.
Robbie the robot was he's kind of an icon of the industry. We've seen him in a lot of different things. They kind of appropriated him for other things. They repurposed Robbie.
Yes.
Many times.
He's done a lot of cameos in different films.
Absolutely. Okay, well, we gotta go. We got Joinies coming up very soon, guys.
All right.
At the top of the hour. So love you all. Thank you, General. Thank you.
Keep an eye out for those big monsters.